Welcome back to the X Lounge. This is an update on the other 57 Chevy I'm working on at the moment. The 2257 Chevy. It needs a lot of cure time because of all the putty and primer work that's getting done on it. So in the meantime, I'm working on this other 57 Chevy which is the identical kit from the other one. However, in this one, as you can see, I'm mounting it to a NASCAR frame and roll cage. So that's going on fairly well. I did have to make a few modifications, of course, and I'm certainly not done with the frame modifications. I might run into some issues later, but for the meantime, so in order for the roll cage to fit in there, I had to make some modifications. This is the point that I'm at now. I think it fits okay. I'd almost like it to be a little bit higher so that it touches the ceiling of the roof, but I don't know that that's necessary. So I'm not gonna get too worried about that. So the things I had to do was, I had to cut it here so that I could raise the cage itself up probably 1/8 of an inch without raising up the rest of the support, which has to be attached to the frame there. Then I needed to raise up it's not quite the dashboard, it's the whatever you call that portion. That had to be raised up about 1/8 of an inch also, and pushed forward just a hair bit. That also required, some modifications to the inside. Not much. I had to cut this bar here and this bar here free because they would be raised up. No, I'm sorry. So they could be actually lowered because this portion was raised up. So as far as the frame goes, well, let's talk about the body. I'd cut out the whole front of it, as you can see. Normally there'd be firewall and inside of fenders and stuff there. This will most likely be trimmed down to it's just a whisper of something there, just enough to hold the hood on. If I don't make my own anyhow, this whole hunk here might come out. I don't know yet. I'm most likely going to grind off the trim, so I don't have to worry about this issue of this not having those cuts in it. The only thing I've done to the frame so far is cut out portions for the wheels to fit in there. They're fairly tight as it is. I got to go through and cut out those ribs. Okay, I'm back. I'll probably edit that out, but if I don't, that was a phone call. So it happens to the best of us. So even when I grind this out, this is going to be a tight fit. However, this is just a static model. I don't care if they're snug in there. Who's going to look at that and go, oh, your fenders are going to rub on your tires? No, they're not. I mean, yeah, they might, but I don't care because they don't have to move. So I am gonna grind all that out though and make it as big as I can, but I'm not going to get too excited about it. I put these plates in there. That's the first part of that. Next, I will put some plastic hunks over this to cover that up. It'll look like that underneath. And of course, now I've got the whole nightmare of shortening all that stuff that fits in there. But that's part of the fun, right? I guess that's it for this update. I don't know that I've used any other tools that I haven't shown you except the, I use the the jeweler saw quite a bit, but you've already seen that. I am working on, this is the bench pin that I use with the jeweler saw, and as you can see, I reinforced the sides with some sheet metal because whenever the screw engages with that, it was tearing into the wood pretty bad. So now it just rubs on that sheet metal. I didn't have to put that whole plate in there. I could have put just, no, you know what, I did, because the whole thing has to be, I need all that meat so that it fits in there flush. If that was just touching there might be some wobble. So yeah, I did need to have that. So I made another one recently. It's actually gluing now. It's oak, and I didn't have a board that thick, but I did have 2 boards half that thick. So rather than glue them together like that, I actually, one of the boards was about that size. So I just ripped one, and I ripped one. I ripped a board down the middle, and it gave me 2 1/4-inch slices that I'm gluing onto the top, sandwiching over the core. That later on I will cut like that, and then put a little bit of grinding on there and a little bit of smoothing there, and then I'll have another bench pin. And I'll tell you why, because the other day I ended up putting this piece of cardboard on there so that I wouldn't scratch that up, because I was actually using it as a cutting board because it was just handy for whatever project that was. So the new one is just going to be flat. It's going to have this angle as well, but it's going to have a hunk of one of these cutting boards glued to the top of it. That way I can use it as a cutting board over here. Even though I've got a cutting board right here, for whatever reason, it was necessary for me. It might have been something that had that had a lip that stuck down, and I needed a good support, but not support on this side. So I guess that's it for now. No, you know what? I'm going to get out I'm going to try something here. I'm going to get out ye old 15 thousandths evergreen plastic. Is that going to be thick enough? No. I'm going to go with probably 30 now that I feel that. Or maybe 20. I've got 20 coming out of the demon hole. Here's some 20 from Plastruct. Let me see how thick that is. I mean, I know how thick it is, but let me see if it's going to be thick enough. Is that actually styrene though? Yeah. It's kind of thin. I'll use that one. I can. Alright, I'll cut a strip of it. It just needs to cover up this gap, so I don't need to fill this whole thing. I just need to fill that gap. So however thick that is what we'll cut our strip. Ooh, millimeters. We'll cut it about 3/8. Ooh, that feels pretty thin. But it's just a stop. It's just gonna hide a hole. It's a hidey hole. And being that thin, I can easily glue that, stretch it around there. Oh, look at that. There's going to be a gap there if I don't cut a notch. Do I want to cut a notch, or do I want to fill that in with a strip later? Probably should cut a notch, but I'm not going to. I'm going to start gluing it there, clamp that down. Roll it around. Kind of guess as to where I went through and glued some pretty coarse sandpaper to all my clips like this. I probably should have used a better glue because a lot of these pop off, but some of them still survive. It makes them a lot more grippy. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to move that. I'm just going to get that started. And then I'm going to get the other side started. And then I'll bid you adieu until the next video, because I want to let this dry for a bit. I might reinforce it a little bit with some super glue, just so it doesn't pop away when I'm trying to glue the rest of it down. I don't have another clamp available. Yes, I do. Okay, so there's that for now. We'll come back when that's ready to continue on. Until then, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you would like, and hit that little bell next to the subscription button, and you'll be notified when the next video comes out from the X Lounge. Thanks for watching.
Party!